The book that you quoted is actually a book that's already out by the co-author of my book, Jerry Acuff. It's a really good book. I suggest everybody buy it. And it's titled Stop Acting Like a Seller and Start Thinking Like a Buyer. And Jerry really breaks down the buying process from the prospect's point of view, and how when we start thinking like them, we start to psychologically connect with them much better. Now, Jerry and I have a book that's being published that will be available on Amazon early November. Okay. And here's what it's called. It's called The New Model of Selling to an Unsellable Generation. So anybody wants to order that, look for that in November online on Amazon. If you want it in a bookstore, it'll be available in Barnes & Noble and all the major bookstores and airports early March of 2023. It's just the way the publisher is releasing it at different times. But those would definitely be good books for people for sure.
So, I mean, speaking about books, I mean, anyone that's watching the video right now, obviously you have a monstrous library behind you. So if you
This is a small part of the library behind me.
So if you were to pick one book that you would like to recommend to our audience, which book would it be?
I think that book that I just talked about with Jerry Acuff would probably be a really good start. I mean, there's some good books. There's some books that are a little bit still old school, but like I can kind of take my background in behavioral science and reword certain things to make them more persuasive in a sense where the prospect pulls in. But, I've read, here's where I got the idea of reading so much. So it wasn't like I was born like, oh, I just love books, right? So I went to my first sales seminar when I got my first sales job by Brian Tracy, a good friend of mine. And this was probably about 22 years ago. It's probably a couple months after I started. And one of the biggest things that I learned from Brian is he said, use your car as a university on wheels. I was like, that makes complete sense. Like, what am I listening to now? I listen to the radio. Like, those songs are not making me much money, like they sound cool, but they're not really helping me financially. So from that day, quite literally, I started reading 3 books a month. So I made a goal, like I have to typically set aside 45 minutes to an hour every day. I do it 6 days a week. Okay, there's always like Saturday, I usually don't read. I just like kind of veg out, chill out. Okay, I don't think about work or anything. So 6 days a week, about an hour, 45 minutes to an hour a day religiously. I've done that for 22 years. So I read 3 books a month. And then I typically listen to 2 books a month on audio while I'm driving around to work or errands or whatever, because my, the office is maybe 10 minutes away from my house. So that's 5 books a year, that's 5 books a month. Times 12 months a year, that's about 60 books a year for 22 years, religiously. Even when I'm on vacation, I'm still reading, okay? I'm a freak. But that's about 1,400 books on sales, persuasion, and influence, plus my background in behavioral science. So when people are like, oh my gosh, how do you know all this stuff? Well, I acquired the knowledge. That's all I did. It wasn't like I was born with all that knowledge. So I acquired it. So you want to be great at sales? Well, you start learning how to sell. Like LeBron James wanted to be great at basketball. So we put in way more work than anybody else. It's probably not like, I'm assuming there were probably other high school athletes that had his same bone structure and muscle structure and were extremely talented. But the reason why LeBron is LeBron is because he outlearned all of them. He outlearned all of them as far as like watching film. He outworked all of them by practicing more. Think about Kobe Bryant. Right? That's why they're known as the greats, because they do things that others are just not willing to do that might be just as talented as them. They don't go the extra mile. So you want to make hundreds of thousands of dollars a year or more in sales, or if you're the business owner and you want your company to be the number one, industry leader in your business, you have to be willing to outlearn your competition because it's all out there.